Have you ever looked at an older couple, holding hands, laughing, completely in sync with each other, and thought, how did they do it? In a world where relationships seem to fade with time, where routine replaces romance, and where so many couples find themselves living more like roommates than soulmates, the question lingers. What's their secret? What makes them part of the rare 10% who remain deeply happy together even after 80? The truth is, happiness in a long-term relationship isn't about luck. It's not about avoiding disagreements or never facing hardships. It's about choices, daily, intentional choices that keep love alive, no matter how many years have passed. And the good news? Anyone can make these choices, including you. Whether you're 60, 70, or even beyond, it's never too late to strengthen your bond, to bring back that spark, and to ensure that you and your partner remain each other's greatest joy. So, let's talk about the first key to being one of those rare, truly happy couples: staying curious about each other. It sounds simple, but let's be honest. After decades together, it's easy to think you already know everything about your partner. You've seen them at their best and their worst. You know how they take their coffee, what shows they love, what annoys them. But here's the thing: people never stop changing. Just because you've known someone for a long time doesn't mean you know everything about them today. Think about how much you've changed over the years. The things you cared about in your 40s might not matter as much now. Your dreams, your worries, your way of looking at life, so much has shifted. The same is true for your partner. Staying curious means asking questions, listening with real interest, and showing that you still want to discover new things about them. Try this. The next time you're sitting together, instead of talking about the usual things, the news, what's for dinner, or who needs to pick up the mail, ask a question you wouldn't normally ask. Something like, what's a dream you still have that you haven't told me about? Or, if you could relive one day of your life, what would it be? You might be surprised by the answers. Now, let's talk about another thing that keeps love strong: choosing kindness over being right. If you've been together for decades, you've probably had your fair share of disagreements. Some might have been big, but most were likely small. Tiny moments where frustration took over, where you snapped at each other over something as simple as leaving a light on or forgetting to close a cabinet. The happiest couples aren't the ones who never argue. They're the ones who know when to let things go. They understand that winning an argument isn't nearly as important as maintaining peace in the relationship. Choosing kindness means pausing before reacting, asking yourself, is this really worth getting upset over? Most of the time, the answer is no. And kindness isn't just about avoiding conflict, it's about small, daily acts of love. A gentle touch on the shoulder as you walk by. A simple thank you for something they do every day. A compliment that reminds them you still see them as someone special. These little things, done consistently, build a love that lasts. It's never too late to make these changes, to choose curiosity, to choose kindness. And as we continue, we'll talk about another powerful way to keep your relationship thriving, something that the happiest couples swear by. One of the biggest secrets to long-lasting happiness in a relationship isn't something complicated or grand. It's something incredibly simple, yet often overlooked: laughter. Think back to the early days of your relationship, the inside jokes, the playful teasing, the moments of uncontrollable laughter that left you both gasping for air. Somewhere along the way, life probably got in the way. Responsibilities piled up, routines took over, and the easy, joyful moments of laughter became less frequent. But here's the truth: the happiest couples never stop finding reasons to laugh together. Laughter isn't just about humor, it's about connection. When you laugh with your partner, you're reminded that you're in this together, that life is meant to be enjoyed, not just endured. Studies have even shown that couples who laugh together tend to be more satisfied in their relationships. Laughter reduces stress, strengthens emotional bonds, and keeps a sense of playfulness alive, something that many couples lose over time. So, how do you bring laughter back? It doesn't have to be forced. Sometimes, it's as simple as watching a funny movie together, reminiscing about old memories, or even playfully teasing each other like you did in the early days. The key is to allow yourselves to be light-hearted, to not take everything so seriously. If your partner says something silly, go with it, don't correct them. If they make a joke, laugh instead of brushing it off. A couple in their 80s once shared their secret to a happy marriage: we never stop being silly with each other. That's it. They found joy in the little moments, in the unexpected, in the absurdity of life itself. And that joy kept them connected even after decades together. Now, let's talk about something just as important: staying physically close. This doesn't mean grand romantic gestures or extravagant trips. It means simple, daily touches that remind your partner, "I'm here and I love you." Over time, many couples fall into a routine where physical affection becomes rare. Maybe there are unspoken barriers, health issues, insecurities, or just the habit of not reaching out anymore. But touch is one of the most powerful ways to maintain closeness. A gentle squeeze of the hand, a hug that lingers just a little longer, a light touch on the back when passing by. These small moments create warmth and security. Science backs this up, too. Physical touch releases oxytocin, often called the love hormone, which helps reduce stress, strengthen bonds, and create a sense of safety. Couples who continue to hold hands, cuddle, or even dance in the kitchen for no reason tend to report deeper emotional connections. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment. Reach for their hand while watching TV. Give them a hug just because. Let them know through touch that they are still the person you love. When you combine curiosity, kindness, laughter, and physical closeness, something beautiful happens. You stop just going through the motions of a relationship and start truly living it. And as we continue, we'll explore one more powerful key that the happiest couples swear by, something that not only strengthens a relationship but also keeps both of you growing together. One of the most powerful things that truly happy couples do, even after 80, is this: they never stop growing together. It's easy to assume that by the time you've spent decades with someone, there's nothing new to discover. You know their habits, their stories, their quirks. But the happiest couples understand that growth doesn't stop just because time has passed. They continue to learn, to explore, to evolve, not just as individuals, but together. Think about it. If you plant a tree and never water it, never tend to it, never give it space to stretch its branches, what happens? It stops thriving. Relationships work the same way. The couples who remain deeply connected don't just sit back and let life happen. They stay engaged, they embrace change, and they find new ways to experience life side by side. So, how do you keep growing together? It doesn't have to be anything dramatic. Sometimes, it's as simple as learning something new as a couple. Maybe it's taking up a small hobby together: painting, gardening, trying a new type of food, or even learning a few words in a new language just for fun. It's not about the activity itself. It's about creating new memories, keeping the relationship fresh, and reminding each other that you're still on an adventure together. One couple, married for over 60 years, shared that their secret to staying close was their shared curiosity. They never assumed they knew everything about each other. Instead, they asked new questions, shared new experiences, and embraced life with a sense of wonder. Another way to grow together is through conversation. Not just small talk about the weather or what's on TV, but real conversations. Ask your partner about their dreams, even now. What do they still want to experience? What are they excited about? What do they reflect on most from their past? You might be surprised by their answers. People change, even after decades, and the happiest couples stay curious about each other's inner world. Of course, growth also means adapting to life's changes, especially the ones that come with age. Our bodies change, our routines shift, and sometimes our circumstances require us to adjust. The happiest couples don't resist these changes. They face them together with patience and understanding. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, they see them as opportunities to strengthen their bond. If one partner is struggling with health issues, they find new ways to support and uplift each other. If retirement has created a shift in their daily lives, they explore new routines that bring joy instead of frustration. They don't allow external changes to define their happiness. They navigate them as a team. At the core of all of this is one fundamental truth. Love is a choice made every single day. The happiest couples don't just stay together because of time or habit. They choose to be together. They choose to listen, to forgive, to celebrate each other, and to keep building something beautiful even after decades have passed. So, if you want to be one of the rare couples who stay truly happy well into your 80s and beyond, remember this. Never stop laughing together, never stop reaching for each other, and never stop growing together. Because love, when nurtured, doesn't fade with time, it deepens. And the best years? They might just be the ones still ahead. Another thing that sets the happiest couples apart is their ability to let go of resentment. It's inevitable. After spending decades together, disagreements will happen. Words will be said in frustration. Mistakes will be made. But here's what truly happy couples understand. Holding on to resentment is like carrying a heavy weight around your heart. And the longer you carry it, the more it drains you of joy, of connection, of peace. Think about it. Have you ever walked into a room and felt tension without a single word being spoken? That's what happens when unspoken hurts linger between two people. The air between them feels heavy, even in silence. Resentment doesn't just affect one moment. It seeps into everyday life, making even the little things, like sharing a meal or watching a show together, feel distant and cold. But the happiest couples? They don't let that happen. They choose to release resentment before it takes root. They talk things through, they listen, and most importantly, they forgive. Not because the other person is perfect, but because they know that carrying old wounds only steals from the happiness they could have today. One elderly man, happily married for over 50 years, was asked the secret to his lasting relationship. He smiled and said, "We never keep a scoreboard. If I kept track of every time she annoyed me, and she kept track of every time I annoyed her, we'd both lose. Instead, we remember why we chose each other in the first place." That's the key. In any long relationship, you will have plenty of reasons to be upset, but you'll also have countless reasons to be grateful. The choice is yours. Do you focus on what went wrong, or do you focus on what's right? Of course, letting go of resentment doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is fine. It means addressing issues, but then allowing yourself and your partner to move forward. It means choosing peace over being right. A simple practice can help with this. If something is bothering you, don't let it sit for days or weeks. Find a calm moment, bring it up gently, and then, after you've said your piece, let it go. Don't keep revisiting old arguments or using past mistakes as weapons. Once it's been talked through, leave it in the past. Another powerful way to release resentment is to shift your perspective. Instead of focusing on what your partner didn't do, think of what they have done. Instead of dwelling on a moment of frustration, recall a moment of love. Even in the hardest seasons, happy couples choose to see each other's goodness, not just their flaws. And finally, never underestimate the power of a heartfelt apology. A simple "I'm sorry" can heal wounds that would otherwise fester for years. And just as importantly, when your partner apologizes, accept it with grace. Holding on to hurt doesn't protect you. It only keeps love at a distance. At the end of the day, resentment is a thief. It steals time, warmth, and closeness. But forgiveness, it opens the door to something far greater: peace, connection, and the kind of love that stands the test of time. Another crucial ingredient in the happiness of long-lasting couples is their ability to keep the spark alive, not in the way movies or romance novels depict, but in a way that feels real, meaningful, and deeply fulfilling. The happiest couples don't let their love become just a routine. They understand that relationships, like anything valuable in life, require attention and care. But here's the secret: it doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the most profound ways to keep love alive are often the simplest. One of the most powerful? Genuine appreciation. After decades together, it's easy to take each other for granted. The little things, making coffee in the morning, folding the laundry, running errands, can start to feel like obligations instead of acts of love. But happy couples recognize these small moments for what they truly are: daily expressions of care. They don't just assume their partner knows they're appreciated. They say it. They show it. A simple "thank you" can change everything. Thank you for always making sure I have my favorite tea. Thank you for rubbing my shoulders when you know I've had a long day. Thank you for still making me laugh after all these years. These moments of gratitude remind both people that their efforts are seen, that they matter. Another way happy couples maintain their connection? They keep discovering each other. It's a mistake to believe that just because you've been with someone for decades, you already know everything about them. People continue to grow, to change, to have new thoughts, dreams, and interests, even in their later years. Happy couples remain curious. They ask, "What's something new you've been thinking about lately?" Or, "If you could do anything right now, what would it be?" They keep learning about each other, just as they did when they first fell in love. Laughter is another secret weapon. Happy couples laugh together. Often. They find joy in the absurd, the silly, the small surprises of life. They tease each other in kind, affectionate ways. They don't let life become so serious that they forget to smile. One couple, married for over 60 years, shared their secret: "We still make each other laugh every single day. Even if it's just over something ridiculous like forgetting where we put the TV remote." Laughter breaks tension, lightens the heart, and reminds both people why they enjoy each other's company. And finally, happy couples prioritize time together, not just in the same room, but truly being present with one another. They set aside moments to connect, whether it's an evening walk, a quiet cup of tea, or sitting on the porch together watching the sunset. They don't let distractions, like endless TV or scrolling through their phones, replace real interaction. It's not about grand gestures. It's about small, consistent acts of love. When people think of keeping the spark alive, they often imagine extravagant vacations or dramatic surprises. But in reality, it's about the way you look at each other, the way you listen, the way you hold hands when no one is watching. It's about waking up each day and choosing again and again to love the person beside you. Because in the end, happiness in a long-term relationship isn't built on one big thing. It's built on a million little moments, strung together with love, kindness, and the decision to keep growing together. One of the most beautiful things about a long-term relationship is the comfort of knowing someone so deeply. But this can also be where many couples get stuck, where familiarity turns into complacency and connection starts to fade without either person even realizing it. Happy couples don't allow this to happen. They nurture their bond by staying emotionally open to each other, by continuing to communicate in ways that bring them closer rather than push them apart. One of the most powerful habits of these couples? They truly listen. Not just hearing the words, but actually listening, with interest, with care, and without waiting to respond. Over the years, many couples fall into the habit of assuming they already know what their partner will say, or they become too distracted to fully engage. But the happiest couples stay present when they talk. They put down the newspaper, turn off the TV, and give each other their full attention. Listening doesn't mean always agreeing. It means showing that you care about what the other person feels, even if you see things differently. Take the example of a couple married for over 50 years. The husband once said, "Even now, when my wife tells me a story about her day, I try to listen like I did when we were first dating, because she's still the most interesting person I know." This mindset of staying interested in each other, of continuing to value conversations, is a key part of what keeps couples truly happy over the decades. Another habit? They know how to disagree without hurting each other. Disagreements are inevitable in any relationship, no matter how strong. But happy couples approach conflict differently. Instead of seeing arguments as battles to be won, they focus on understanding and compromise. They don't attack, they express. They don't bring up past mistakes to score points. They focus on the issue at hand. And most importantly, they never let temporary frustrations overshadow the love they have for each other. A simple rule that many long-lasting couples follow: never go to bed angry. Not because problems should be ignored, but because nothing is more important than the relationship itself. It's not about who is right or wrong, it's about staying connected. And sometimes, the best thing a couple can do is simply say, "I'm sorry." Not as a way to end an argument quickly, but as a genuine expression of love and respect. "I'm sorry I raised my voice. I'm sorry I didn't listen to you. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings." This kind of humility and care is what keeps relationships thriving for a lifetime. But perhaps the most surprising habit of happy couples is this: they allow each other to grow. Too many relationships fall into the trap of expecting their partner to always stay the same. But real love isn't about holding someone in place, it's about growing together, even as individuals continue to evolve. Happy couples support each other's dreams, no matter how big or small. They encourage each other to try new things, to pursue passions, to embrace change instead of fearing it. It might be as simple as one partner taking up a new hobby and the other supporting them, or as big as making a life change that requires mutual encouragement. The key is that neither person feels trapped in the past version of themselves. In fact, the happiest couples look at their partner and think, "I love who you are becoming just as much as I loved who you were." That's what makes a relationship last through the decades, not just loving the past, but loving the future you're creating together. And when two people choose, day after day, to listen, to forgive, one of the biggest misconceptions about long-term relationships is that love alone is enough to keep things strong. But in reality, love is just the foundation. It's what you do with it that determines whether your relationship will thrive or fade. The happiest couples understand this. They don't just rely on their history together or the fact that they've made it this far. Instead, they make an active choice to keep showing up for each other, to keep making their relationship a priority, even when life gets busy or challenging. And one of the simplest but most powerful ways they do this? They keep having fun together. It might sound obvious, but many couples forget how important this is. Over the years, responsibilities pile up: family obligations, health concerns, financial worries, and without realizing it, playfulness and joy take a back seat. But happy couples don't let that happen. They find ways, no matter how small, to bring laughter and lightness into their relationship. Maybe it's an inside joke that only the two of them understand. Maybe it's watching a favorite old movie together, or going on a spontaneous outing, or simply teasing each other in a way that keeps things light-hearted. Whatever it is, they make sure their relationship isn't just about routine or responsibility. It's also about joy. And here's the truth: laughter is one of the most powerful ways to strengthen a relationship. Studies have shown that couples who laugh together not only feel closer emotionally but also navigate stress more easily. Because when you can find humor even in the challenges, you remind each other that you're in this together. Beyond fun, another key habit of truly happy couples is gratitude. Over time, it's easy to start taking each other for granted. You get used to the little things your partner does: the way they make your morning coffee, the way they check on you when you're not feeling well, the way they simply exist beside you every day. But happy couples never let appreciation fade. They say thank you, even for the small things. They acknowledge each other's efforts. They remind their partner, in words and actions, that they are valued and cherished. One elderly couple, married for over 60 years, was once asked what their secret was. The wife smiled and said, "Every morning, my husband tells me he's grateful to wake up next to me. And every night, I tell him I'm grateful we had another day together." That's the kind of love that lasts. Not because it's perfect, but because it's appreciated. And that leads to the final, and perhaps most important, thing that truly happy couples do. They choose love every single day. Not just when things are easy. Not just when everything is going smoothly. But even in the moments when they're frustrated, tired, or facing life's inevitable challenges. Because love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice. A choice to be patient. A choice to be kind. A choice to see the best in each other, even when times are hard. And when couples make that choice, day after day, year after year, they don't just stay together. They stay deeply, truly happy. So if you want to be one of the rare couples who remain joyful and connected long after 80, remember this: love is in the small things. In the way you listen, in the way you laugh, in the way you appreciate each other. It's not about having a perfect relationship. It's about nurturing a relationship that keeps growing, keeps evolving, and keeps bringing you happiness. Because in the end, the secret to lasting love isn't really a secret at all. It's just the decision, made over and over again, to keep loving, keep trying, and keep choosing each other, every single day. And when you make that choice, to keep loving, keep appreciating, and keep nurturing your relationship, something incredible happens. Your connection doesn't just survive, it deepens. It becomes richer, more fulfilling, and more resilient. That's the kind of love that stands the test of time. The kind that still feels alive after decades. The kind where you look at your partner at 80, 90, even 100 years old, and still feel grateful that you're walking this journey together. But here's the reality: it doesn't happen by accident. It takes intention. It takes effort. And it takes understanding that every single day is another opportunity to strengthen what you have. One of the most beautiful ways that truly happy couples do this is through shared purpose. It's not just about living under the same roof or going through the motions of daily life. It's about having something that brings you together. A goal, a passion, a mission that keeps you both engaged and connected. For some couples, it's volunteering together, giving back to their community, or mentoring younger generations. For others, it's a shared love of travel, gardening, or even something as simple as working on puzzles side by side. Whatever it is, it gives them something to look forward to, something that makes their time together meaningful beyond just the day-to-day routine. And this is crucial because one of the biggest reasons relationships grow distant isn't conflict, it's complacency. It's when couples stop growing together, stop learning together, and stop sharing new experiences. Happy couples avoid this by constantly finding new ways to stay connected. They try new things, set new goals, and continue to build a life that excites them both. And this doesn't mean making grand, dramatic changes. It can be as simple as learning a new hobby together, planning a small weekend getaway, or even just having deeper conversations about dreams and ideas they still want to pursue. The happiest couples understand that even after decades together, there's always something new to discover about the world, about each other, and about the love they share. And that brings us to one of the most overlooked but essential ingredients of lasting happiness: forgiveness. No relationship is perfect. Over the years, there will be misunderstandings, disagreements, and moments of frustration. But what sets the happiest couples apart is their ability to let go of resentment and choose peace over pride. They don't hold on to grudges. They don't keep score. Instead, they remind themselves that their relationship is more important than any single argument or mistake. Because at the end of the day, it's not about being right, it's about being happy. One couple, together for 70 years, was once asked how they managed to stay so happy. The husband laughed and said, "We decided a long time ago that we'd rather hold hands than hold grudges." And that's the secret. Not perfection, but perspective. It's the understanding that time is precious, that every moment together is a gift, and that love is always more important than being right. So if you want to be part of that rare 10%, the couples who remain truly happy even after 80, remember this: love isn't something you find and then forget about. It's something you nurture, protect, and choose every single day. Keep laughing. Keep appreciating. Keep growing together. And most of all, keep choosing love in all its imperfect, beautiful, and deeply rewarding forms. Because in the end, that's what truly matters. Not how long you've been together, but how deeply you've loved each other along the way. And when you think about it, that's really what makes a life well lived. Having someone by your side who has seen you at your best and your worst and still chooses you over and over again. But the truth is, love alone isn't enough to make that happen. It takes a conscious effort to nurture that love, to keep it strong, and to protect it from the small things that can quietly pull couples apart over time. One of the most powerful habits that happy couples practice, especially in their later years, is gratitude. Not just general gratitude for life, but specific, intentional gratitude for each other. It's easy to take someone for granted when you've been together for decades. Their little acts of kindness, making your coffee just the way you like it, remembering your favorite show, reaching for your hand when you're walking, these things can start to feel ordinary. But happy couples don't let that happen. They make it a habit to notice, to appreciate, and to express their gratitude out loud. They say, "Thank you for making my day easier." They say, "I love that you still make me laugh." They say, "I don't tell you enough, but I really appreciate everything you do." And these words, these small acknowledgments, have a way of keeping love alive. Because at the core of every lasting relationship is the simple desire to feel valued. To know that, after all these years, you still matter to the person you love. And this brings us to another key to staying truly happy together: embracing change rather than fearing it. The reality is, as we grow older, things change. Our bodies change, our routines shift, and sometimes life throws unexpected challenges our way. Happy couples don't fight against this. They adapt together. Instead of mourning the past, they find new ways to enjoy the present. Maybe they can't dance the way they used to, but they can still sway to their favorite song in the kitchen. Maybe long trips have become harder, but they still find joy in small adventures: a drive to their favorite park, a quiet afternoon watching the sunset, or a simple meal at a familiar cafe. They understand that happiness isn't about holding on to what was, it's about making the most of what is. And the final, perhaps most important, thing that happy couples do? They keep choosing each other every single day. Not just out of habit, but with intention. They make time for each other, even when life gets busy. They continue to hold hands, to share stories, to look into each other's eyes with the same warmth they had when they first fell in love. Because love isn't just about memories of the past, it's about creating new ones, right up until the very last moment. So if you want to be one of the rare couples who stay truly happy after 80, remember this: appreciate the little things. Embrace the changes. And that's the beauty of a lasting relationship. It's not about the grand gestures or the perfect moments. It's about the small, everyday choices that add up over time. It's about deciding again and again that this person is worth it. And here's something important to remember: happiness in a relationship isn't something that just stays once you have it. It requires effort, but not in a way that feels exhausting or forced. Instead, it's about maintaining simple, meaningful habits that reinforce your bond. One of the most underrated but powerful things that happy couples do is communicate openly, especially about the things that bother them. It's easy to assume that, after so many years together, you don't need to talk about certain things anymore. You might think, "They should already know how I feel." Or, "At this point, what's the point in bringing it up?" But the truth is, unspoken frustrations can build up over time. A small annoyance, like how they always leave their shoes in the wrong spot, can turn into resentment if it's never addressed. A deeper hurt, like feeling unheard or unappreciated, can quietly eat away at the connection. Happy couples don't let these things fester. They talk. And more importantly, they listen. When one person shares something that's been on their mind, the other doesn't get defensive or dismissive. Instead, they acknowledge the feeling, even if they don't fully agree. They say things like, "I didn't realize that upset you. I'll try to be more mindful." Or, "I hear you. That wasn't my intention, but I understand why you felt that way." This kind of open, compassionate communication prevents the small cracks from becoming deep divides. It keeps both people feeling heard, respected, and valued. And that brings us to something else that happy couples do differently. They don't let boredom creep into their relationship. It's easy, after years and years together, to fall into a routine that feels predictable. You eat the same meals, watch the same shows, and talk about the same topics. But the happiest couples find ways to keep life interesting. They try new things together, whether it's a new hobby, a new place to visit, or even just a new recipe to cook at home. They laugh together, finding humor in the little moments of daily life. They stay curious about each other, asking questions they've never asked before, even after decades of being together. Because the truth is, people are always growing. No matter how long you've been with someone, there are still things to discover about them. And when you make an effort to keep learning about your partner, you keep the connection alive. Now, there's one more secret that sets happy couples apart. One final habit that makes all the difference. But before we dive into that, take a moment to think about everything we've covered so far. Think about your own relationship. Are there small ways you can show more gratitude? Moments where you could be a little more open? Opportunities to add more fun and spontaneity into your daily life? Because the truth is, it's never too late to make a change. And as we continue, we'll explore the one thing that happy couples do that truly keeps their love strong, even after a lifetime together. And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Love isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about navigating them as a team. It's about looking at the person beside you and saying, "We'll figure this out together." Because after all the years, after all the ups and downs, what truly matters is that you still have each other. Think about it. When you look back at your life together, what will stand out? It won't be the arguments over small things. It won't be the stressful days or the moments of doubt. It will be the laughter shared over morning coffee, the quiet comfort of holding hands during a storm, the inside jokes that only the two of you understand. It will be the love that endured, not because it was always easy, but because you chose to nurture it. That's what makes a relationship last. That's what makes a love story one of the rare ones. So if you've been feeling like the spark has faded, if routines have taken over, or if you've just been coasting through the days without truly connecting, this is your reminder. Love is still there. It's waiting for you to reignite it. Start with something small today. Maybe it's a kind word, a gentle touch, a moment of eye contact that lingers just a little longer. Maybe it's taking a walk together, reminiscing about the early days, or simply sitting side by side in comfortable silence. Maybe it's saying, "I appreciate you," or "I'm grateful for the life we've built." These moments, these small, intentional acts, are what make love last a lifetime. And if you're watching this and thinking, "It's been a while since we really connected," don't worry. It's never too late to start again. A love that lasts beyond 80 isn't about never facing challenges. It's about facing them together. It's about choosing to see the best in each other, even on the hardest days. It's about remembering that love isn't something you find and then leave to fate. It's something you build, moment by moment, choice by choice. So here's to the couples who keep choosing love, who keep showing up for each other, who, even after decades, still find ways to laugh, to support, and to cherish the life they've created. Because that's what true happiness looks like. And if you've made it this far in the video, I'd love to hear from you. What's the best piece of relationship advice you've ever received? Or, if you've been with your partner for years, what's the one thing that has kept your love strong? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a little encouragement today. Here's to love that lasts a lifetime.